でもいいんじゃねえか?
Like I said, not a Frieren episode without some feet. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to some more Frieren. Season 2, Episode 3. There's always that little pause before I say the episode number because I don't actually know what episode we're on, so I have to check my note and, never mind. Indeed, we are back with some more So no Frieren. Previously, on episode 2 of season 2, the gang was asked to retrieve a relic, a sword, an heirloom of this very old family, I guess, that the demons had stolen once again. It was not the first time. For some reason, the demons really love this sword. What it does exactly, we don't know yet, but, I really wondered what the story with the sword was, but they didn't really explain it. Now, will the sword come back in a future episode? Unlikely, but I guess we shall see. Let us just get into episode 3, shall we?
なんだか最近暖かくなってきたな。
ここら辺は火山地帯で、北側諸国でも温暖な地域だからね。いよいよ温泉ですね。そうだね。もう少ししたら次の村に着くだろうし、着いたら温泉に入ろうか。
なあ、フリーレン。もうだいぶ歩いたぜ。村はまだかよ。
I'm not entirely sure. This could be me grasping at straws here for no reason, but something tells me that this episode was animated by someone else. Something about like, again, this could be completely wrong here, but I have enough experience to notice some things occasionally. And if you notice, they've been showing upper body shots and pretty close-up upper body shots for a while, like for the last, pretty much every shot, because it's easier to animate. All they have to do is just animate the heads, up and down to simulate the walking. But maybe it was just a low-budget episode or something. Like something, like certain angles as well are a little bit. Again, maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing something that isn't there. Just a gut feeling. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe I haven't had my morning tea yet.
人間の村は油断するとすぐになくなっちゃうんだから。こりゃ次の町まで温泉は我慢だね。
次の町までどのくらいなんだ
？1週間くらいかな。
この近くに温泉はないのかよ。
そういえば、祖父に聞いた話なのですが、裏手の山には秘湯があると言っていました。
エトバス山の秘湯だね。ご存知なのですか？それこそ残っているかどうか相当な山奥だからね。素直に次の町を目指した方が早く温泉にありつけると思うよ。
エトバス山の秘湯、どこかで聞いたことがあるような。あ、思い出した。フリーレン、俺行ってみたいかな、エトバス山の秘湯。
シュタルク様。でもね、シュタルク、あそこは秘湯って言っても労力に見合わないと思うよ。だって
せっかくここまで来たんだから行ってみようぜ。
Let her, oh my god, let her finish the sentence. I want to know what's going on. I'm sure both of them kind of know, but they have different reasons.
シュタルクが行きたいって言うのなら行こうか。
I'm really surprised, to be honest, right? Like, they mentioned that you needed, like, a first-class mage to travel to the northern areas or whatever, but it seems like they run into random small villages that haven't been destroyed. Like, I mean, last episode, yeah, we saw, one village be destroyed with the the sword demon. But, I mean, you know, these people are pretty normal. Pretty fine. I'm a little bit surprised, making me start thinking that the whole first class mage exam thing was kind of just a forced plot line, you know, like they wanted to have the mage exam, and they wanted, you know, Fern and Frieren to take part in it, so they came up with this bullshit reason of like, you can't go to the northern continent or whatever without a mage that's first class or some bullshit. Because I feel like if that's really the requirement to go to these areas, they would have no economy. They would have no, you know, trade, merchants. I mean, you know, I don't know, but maybe I'm thinking too much. I just gotta sip on my tea and enjoy myself. It's probably not there anymore. Or something bad has happened to it.
そんなところにまで行っていたんですね。ヒンメルは珍しい場所とかは隅々まで探索しないと気が済まない性格だったからね。
Either something bad happened there, or something has happened to the area.
何かあるんだって。僕の直感がそう言ってる。
特に人までの道のりは難易度が高かった。厄介な魔物の縄張りを抜けないとたどり着けない。
Uh-oh.
早速お出ましか。
Is that a dragon? A hydra? Okay.
竜か。久しぶりだな。
あれは竜じゃない。どちらかというとトカゲなんかに近いタイプの魔物だよ。あの三つ首は同時に切り落とさないとすぐに再生する。
マジかよ!
I've never understood that logic, to be honest. You know, if the regeneration is dependent on the creature thinking that it needs to regenerate, or being able to, like, you know, send signals from its brain or one of its brains to the others or something, and then it can regenerate, because, I mean, otherwise, how does that even make sense, right?
シュタルク走って。いい作戦があるんだ。左右に分かれて全ての首を同時に狙うよ。はい。なるべく少ない回数で成功させよう。タイミングが悪い。
It's not just me, right? Like, it's not just me, right? Like, 100% the episode is a lot less, again, you know, just, like, again, I'm not one for, I'm definitely not one of those people who criticizes bad animation or anything, but, and this is Frieren we're talking about, but, like, it's quite noticeable if you, like, if you have the other episodes be good, and then all of a sudden you have a change to bad, it's noticeable, right? And that's the worst part. I mean, come on, there's no clouds in the back, no movement in the back. The only thing they animate is basically just the like a very short, you know, flow of the clothes and hair. I mean, it's very obvious as well. They're doing their best, but it's obvious. And it's not that bad either. But it's obvious.
ただのおとりじゃねえか。
Indeed. Probably would make even more sense to have one of the mages be bait because they can fly. I'm trying to predict what they're gonna find. but I can't really. We don't have any information.
ようやく着いたな。
大変でしたね。次の町を目指した方がマシだったでしょ。あれがエトバスさんの人だよ。
浅いな。
これじゃあ足湯ですね。だから割に合わないって言ったんだよ。
でもいいんじゃねえか。
Like I said, not a Frieren episode without some feet.
いい景色ですね。
ああ、
どうしてここに来たいと言ったのですか？
師匠から聞いていたんだよ。
エトバスさんの人はまさかの足湯だった。とても労力と割に合わん。実にくだらない冒険だ。だが不思議なものでな。仲間と共にしたくだらない冒険はどれもかけがえのない記憶として残っている。俺はあの景色が忘れられん。
It's interesting how when these memories happen, you probably don't think much of it, right? But then you look back on it like 10, 20, 30 years later and you're like, the good old days. The good old days.
シュタルク様はご存知だったんですね。
きっと師匠と同じ景色が見たかったんだ。確かにいい景色だ。
Well,
帰り道も過酷ですね。
in these situations, I'd probably just use some magic to fly down. Why not?
お嬢ちゃん、若いのに温泉が好きなのね。
I suppose, yeah, elves in this world are kind of rare. I mean, we kind of already knew that, but if you think about it, most people in this world probably go their entire lives without seeing a single elf. Because elves themselves see each other every, like, few hundred years. So it's like, you know, most people, I think most humans go their entire lives without seeing one.
ずっと温泉に入り浸りですね。
たまに出てきたと思えば魔法店だもんな。
明日は丸一日暇になってしまいますね。
そうだな。俺は武器屋にでも行くか。斧を研いでもらわないと。
だから私、明日暇なんですけど。
ん？
構ってください。本当に気が利きませんね、シュタルク様は。
いつも当たりきついんだよな。よし、たまには仕返ししてやるか。
Nope. Bad idea.
そんなに構ってほしいなら明日デートしようぜ。
It was worse than I thought. Really, it was really much worse than I thought.
これやばいパターンだ。死んだな。
わかりました。
Unless...
では明日。
本。何この反応。
I mean, obviously we know that they're kind of being, you know, let's be honest, pushed to be together. You know, kind of. I mean, they're not pushed, but like, it's obvious that's where it's going, right? The only thing I would say to that is, you know, like a romance, you know, three-person party, that's, that can get really awkward. You know, personally, I still think that Frieren, the show, should, or at least you know, this is kind of what I thought when I started watching the first season, like in the first couple episodes, right? Based off of how the first episode was, I thought every episode was going to skip some time. So, like, at least a few years, right? I thought we were going to see, from Frieren's perspective, how people age around her. So I thought, like early in season 1, I thought that we were going to see Frieren take Fern on as an apprentice, right? And then every episode we're going to skip like 5 years. And then by the end of the season or end of the show, we essentially see Fern on her deathbed with, you know, Frieren being the same as she ever was. That's what I initially thought was going to happen. But they immediately slowed down and it was a little like, okay, whatever. But as the show goes on, I, like, every so often I think to myself, I kind of wish they would just, you know, skip some time. Like, I get it, they have a goal that they're trying to reach for now, and, you know, so on and so forth. But, like, I feel like this show really needs that type of, like, a little bit of time skip. It's just my opinion. I just feel like it would be cool to see.
どう思う？やっぱ怒ってんのかな？
シュタルク、誰に相談しているのか分かっているの？正気か？
だよな。
Well, at least she's self-aware.
何も無理とは言っていないよ。私はお姉さんだからね。乙女心もバッチリだよ。
じゃあ改めて、フリーレン、俺にデートしようって言われたらどう思う？
シュタルクも大人になったね。嬉しいからご飯おごっちゃうかも。
やっぱり参考にならねえよ。これ完全に孫と遊びに行くおばあちゃんの感覚だもん。
クソババアに続いて2度目だ。3度目はないからね。
何そのカウント怖い。ちなみに3度目はどうなるんですか？
泣きわめく。癇癪を起こした私は怖いよ。勇者ヒンメルでさえ恐れおののいた。
Oh boy.
3日三晩ずっと泣いてる。
怖い。
ま、
Not gonna lie, I know they're making a joke about this, but that is my worst nightmare. Because she cries like a small child. Jesus. Oh God. Stark, we're counting on you.
タルクにデリカシーがない
Please
ことは分かったかな。それでフェルンとデートするの？
やっぱなしって言える雰囲気じゃないからね。だからフェルンが好きそうな場所とか聞きたくて。いや、なんでもない。聞いた俺が。
下見に行こうか。
え？
多分わかるかも。まずは市場で何か食べさせた方がいい。お腹が空くと機嫌が悪くなるから。屋台は外せないね。フェルンは小さい頃からつまみ食いが好きなんだ。こういう綺麗なものが置いてあるお店なんかも喜ぶと思うよ。
Interesting how much Frieren has paid attention.
あとは
At the end of the day, just be honest.
こういう物静かな広場。
Be respectful. Speak from the heart.
いや、何も知らないよ。私はすごくない。すごいのはハイターなんだ。ことあるごとにハイターはフェルンの好みを話していたからね。お腹が空くと不機嫌になるのも、つまみ食いが好きなのも、綺麗なものが好きなのも、気分によって好みが変わるのも、どれも全部ハイターが教えてくれた。フェルンの親代わりになることを望んでいたみたいだけれども、私は結局あの子の好きなものをほとんど見つけられなかった。
I don't think she's seeing the full picture.
でもこうしてちゃんと
I was about to say that. If you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't have remembered. And also, she has probably already seen all those things while traveling with Fern. So, I mean...
フリーレンは多分ちゃんと親をやれてるよ。
The fact that she even thinks so deeply about it
旅に出て
says a
初
lot.
めてフェルンの誕生日を祝ったのもこんなところだったっけ。たまにはシュタルクもいいことを言うね。
だろ？
time for her advice, I guess? Probably.
デートに誘われてしまいました。どうすればこっちもか。
They had someone before in their party for a while who took this job, but ultimately, good old Frieren must take the advisor role here.
フリーレン様
Not much choice.
デートをしたことはありますか？
Nope.
あるよ。
Oh.
ですよね。あるんですか？デートって誰と何をされたのですか？ヒンメルと一緒に迷い猫探しに出かけた。魔道具店の店主に頼まれてね。それはデートと呼べるのでしょうか？あのね、フェルン。気心の知れた異性と二人きりで出かけたら、それはデートになるんだよ。
Disagree. Hard disagree.
先生が言ってた。もういいです。
Yeah. Shaking my
おや
head.
すみなさい。
I think it's over. Yep. Considering they're always traveling, how does Fern even learn about these things? Once again, I'm thinking too hard, obviously, but, you know, thinking about it, because I can't help myself, you gotta explain these things somehow, right? How does Fern know romance and dates any better than Frieren does? I thought to myself, maybe she learns things from books? That's pretty much the only way I can, I think, explain some of these things. Because, like, we've had multiple scenes where, you know, Frieren has some skewed way of seeing something that's, like, completely not common sense, right? And then Fern is, like, the common sense person. And, you know, oftentimes it's made into a joke and everything, but, like, how does Fern... You know, because children grow up learning from their parents and learning from people around them. But, like, how does Fern know what's common sense if Frieren is the role model, right? Probably one of those things that just, you know, you're not supposed to think about thinking too hard. I will say, however, I have no problems with Fern and Stark dating, I guess, getting together, but the one thing I hope that they don't do is start showing their, like, dates and stuff like that. Like, don't turn it into a romance anime. You can have romance, you can show them getting together and stuff, and occasionally show them having a moment or two, but, like, don't make the show about that. You can have the romance happening kind of on the side. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that we don't need to see absolutely every moment that they have together. It could be, like, maybe we see the date next episode, and then we see how it turns out, probably, like, decently well, and then as we continue traveling and going through more and more episodes, occasionally just a simple scene of, like, Frieren asking Fern, hey, where do you guys go? Like, I woke up and you guys were gone. Oh, Miss Frieren, we're just occasionally going on, like, walk dates every now and then. You know, like, we don't need to actually see that. Just indicate that they, you know, things are going well between them. Essentially, yeah, we don't need to know and see every aspect of their, you know, romance, basically. Maybe it is my imagination, but I definitely think that this episode was animated kind of, I wouldn't say badly, but definitely worse than the previous one. There's just some, like, I can't explain it exactly. I'm not a professional animator or anything, you know, I can't explain all the small details that I'm noticing. But it's just, I think I'm right. But again, it doesn't really matter. It was kind of a slow, travel-filled episode. Not much happened, to be honest. Other than, oh, they're going on their first date, I guess. But yeah, that was episode 3 of Season 2 of Frieren. I hope you enjoyed, and we shall be back next time with episode 4. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.